This is episode 4 of the Ranch of Rivershine No Competitions Challenge. Today I'll be covering days 22 through 28 on this challenge save. The No Competitions Challenge works like this. I change my game mode to story so I don't have to complete any competitions, and anytime I complete a competition quest, I immediately spend the money earned on that quest on carrots, which is a resource I don't really use for anything in-game. That means that all the money I earn in-game needs to come from either selling horses, resources, or completing other quests unrelated to competitions. This makes the game significantly more challenging, and let me tell you, week 4 there is no shortage of said challenges. Let's get into what happened on week 4. I woke up on day 22 informed that there was a new endurance course in the Pine Forest I could purchase, as well as some horses in the Pine Forest to catch. I spent some time foraging, and I immediately ran over to the Pine Forest to get ahead on finding the horses. Okay guys, so we're looking— What is that cutie patootie I spy with my little eye? I see a buckskin, so I think we're gonna go with the buckskin. The cremello is cute too, but I don't really see a lot of patterns. I eagerly chased this new horse to the corral to get a closer look. This is a stallion. His name is Rainy River. That's kind of cute. Rainy River. I ran home and immediately took care of the new horse, River, and also spent some time trying to get a new look set up for him. OMG, why is he kind of cute like this? It's giving the horses from Spirit, the military horses. Guys, why does it kind of look good like this? Am I crazy? I then proceeded to spend quite a bit of time running around the arena, jumping, cantering, and training just about every stat that I could. He is mad, y'all. He is kicking. Kicking and bucking and mad and kicking and bucking and... I spent some more time working on his tameness and skills, and then eventually switched over to Stealthy Eagle. I did pretty much the exact same stuff with her, except it went a lot more smoothly. I spent a little bit more time foraging around the ranch and eventually went to bed, concluding day 22. Day 23 was super exciting because Clear Ocean had her baby, and also there were wild horses in the Lupine Meadow. I took care of the horses in the stable and then went outside to go check on the new addition to the herd. This was our first full born on this save, so this is kind of a big deal. It's a girl, and I don't think she's a keeper, unfortunately. So, Luna paid for a name tag, so I was thinking, because this is a filly, we'll name her Luna. Now, although this baby is super cute, I did decide in this moment that she was not a keeper, and this is due to the fact that she is just a regular Bay Tobiano and not a Mealy Tobiano, which is what I was hoping for when I paired Ocean up with Riddle. But this is okay, and this is going to be one of many babies born on the ranch. A stream viewer used their channel points to redeem a name tag, and they requested the name Luna, and I decided that this filly would have their requested name of Luna. I ran to town on Riddle and discussed what the next horses going to be sold were. I'd agreed that I would sell Riddle next, most likely, and after making that decision, I headed over to Day's tack shop and looked around at some of the items he had. I did sell some goods to him and then used that money to buy some of the tack he had for sale. I finished up Riddle's training in the arena at home, and once the time was right, I switched over to Stealthy Eagle and ran over to the auction house. Like, they are cool, but guys, oh my god, wait. Riddle is gonna sell for $10,000. He's gonna sell for 10K. That's actually incredible. At first I was like, oh, I feel kind of bad for selling him. Like, girl, no you don't. Look at this. This was our first 5-figure horse that we sold, so I honestly felt pretty great coming out of it with over $10,000 in our bank account for once. To celebrate, I bought the new trail and also tried to invest in getting the Wild Horse Mountain Pen, but I did realize pretty quickly that it wasn't in my budget just yet. I just think all Americans love the 4th of July and go all out.
I'm happy to report I do not fit the criteria.
After that, I spent a considerable amount of time in the Rocky Mountain area looking for resources that I could harvest. While I was at the Rocky Mountain, I somehow suddenly, thankfully, remembered that there were wild horses in the Lupine Meadow area, so I ended up heading over to Lupine Meadow. Upon arriving, I really did not spend much time looking at these horses. I just really wanted to bring another horse home that I could quickly sell in the morning, instead of spending a lot of time training. I chose this horse named Rainy Smoke, which was a pearl black splash. And after running home and feeding them, that basically concluded day 23. All contestants are invited to participate in the Sea Arch competition. Wild horses in the pine forest. Okay, we're gonna go figure that out right away, and by figure that out, I mean we're gonna go to the pine forest and get a new horse. So yeah, I basically said it right there. New competition quest to complete, and also wild horses in the pine forest today. I got started and took care of Stealthy Eagle and also our other horse, and I opted to head straight to the auction house to sell our new horse that we got the night before. I ended up selling this horse right away, or deciding to sell it right away, partially because it looked very similar to Stealthy Eagle, but also because, really, we're gonna have horses so frequently moving through the trails, wild horses, that it just makes sense to have a stall open for a horse that we have no intention of training and just want to sell as soon as we get it type thing. Wild horses are free to catch and basically always sell for around $2,000, so if you think about it, if wild horses are coming through the game every single day, that's an extra bonus of $2,000 we could be utilizing, hence why I decided to pick this horse up and immediately sell it. There was also a really important Twitch conversation that happened during this segment of the stream, so let me include that here. Guys, vampires or werewolves? Serious question. Werewolves. Okay, see, you guys are all werewolf people. I don't know, I think I might be a vampire person. Do I need to be shot and thrown off the face of the earth for this opinion? Yes, you need- okay. I'll see myself out. Bye, guys. Shape-shifting into animals. Vampire but turns into bat? Question mark? To be fair, turning into a wolf is so much cooler, but, like, I don't care what anybody says, werewolves have to stink, alright? Like, I'm sorry. They've got to. You literally transform into a giant dog. Like, be so for real. Wolf, dog, they be eating the same dead carcasses. They be rolling in their own poo-poo. Like, it's just, they're a dog, okay? They're gonna have that dog smell. Not that they're supposed to smell bad, not that they're supposed to have bad breath, etc., but they smell like a dog. And I don't like the smell of dogs. I don't know how to explain it, I just don't really like it. Like, I'm not up for the smell of a dog. So I feel like a werewolf is always gonna smell like a dog. Like, they gonna be a person. They could Sorry, we're having such werecats. Yeah, alright, maybe I like werecats. I'm not a vampire person or a werewolf person, chat. I'm a werecat person. I like vampires too. Thank God! Somebody with some taste in this chat. Just kidding. Kill. I feel- exactly! They'd rip up your stuff. They'd probably, like, go alpha wolf full moon mode on you and, like, get the- whatever that thing was in Vampire Diaries where they had to chain him to the wall. That's the thing. That's what's gonna happen. Y'all know The Sims 4 when they rampage? It's gonna be like that. I don't know, he turned- I hated Jake in Twilight, okay? Can I just say that? I know everybody's like, Edward or Jake? Edward or Jake? I'm sorry, but Jake is so annoying, bro. Like, sit down! Do something, like- Anyways, that concluded the vampire or werewolves conversation. I think my deep-rooted hate for werewolves probably stems from Twilight, but you know what? It's okay. It's okay, guys. Anyways, vampires or werewolves, let me know down below. I spent the rest of the evening of that day running around and hunting down the remaining chests in the Rocky Mountain area, and also collecting resources. I did eventually head back to the Rivershine town area to speak with some of the villagers and sell some things. Dude, I see Jai sitting with these girls all the time. Jai, are you a player? Oh, he backed off! He did not like that face contact. Madeline gave me some money for a quest, so I had to run over to George's and purchase some carrots with that money. After that, I went home for the night, completely forgetting about the wild horses in the pine forest, unfortunately, and headed over to bed, and that concluded day 24. Day 25 was the first rainy day I had in a hot minute on this save. This was an exciting day because Madeleine informed us that there were going to be common horses now available at the auction house, which meant access to better stat horses automatically, which was exciting. There were also some wild horses on the map too that I wanted to take a look at. I took care of all the horses that morning, and I also spent some time checking on Ocean and Luna, the new baby. I took a quick bathroom break and let Louis supervise, and when I came back, I hopped on Stealthy Eagle and headed over to town. Also, y'all, I am so sorry. Louis is currently absolutely devouring a stick. I'm sorry if you can hear that in the background of this voiceover. I went over to Lupine Meadow ASAP because I really did not want to forget about the wild horses again today. I also daydreamed a little bit about what horse I wanted to get from the auction house today. I was thinking maybe a Dun Tobiano crossover, or maybe like a flaxen maned type horse with Tobiano. I wasn't really sure. Out of the horses at Lupine Meadow today, I ended up going with this chestnut flaxen splash type horse right here. I believe its name was Vibrant River. Okay, interesting. Vibrant River. And I adopted this horse on the spot. This was another one that I wanted to sell right away, so I headed over to the auction house. And although he expectedly did not sell for very much money, an extra nearly $3,000 is an extra nearly $3,000 that I can simply not pass up on at this time. And immediately after selling him, I took a look at the new common horses for sale. Oof. I don't blame you. I would hate that. Okay, guys, so we're gonna buy our first decent project horse. Giant Willow. This horse is actually really cute, surprisingly. But I feel like I kind of want to do like a Tobiano or an Overo, maybe. This is literally the same exact horse that just walked through. Hello? Hello? It's the same horse. It's just got some socks now, I think. Dude, there's another flaxen chestnut. What is happening? Hello? I skipped past the next few horses as they were all pretty plain, but eventually I stumbled upon this really pretty apricot dun Tobiano mare. She was exactly what I was looking for at this phase in the game, so I ended up placing a couple bids and winning her auction. For once, I actually didn't head straight home to see the new horse. I instead went over to the Rocky Mountain area and once again looked for resources there before going home to see the new horse. She is so cool. So awesome. So amazing. Those thoughts that I had in that exact moment are the thoughts I still have now about this horse. I think she looks super cool. I got to work creating a unique tack set for her. I settled on this pink and light brown combination and eventually took out River for some training in the round pen. While I trained him, a certain decision weighed on my mind. I kind of want to breed Groovy Galaxy to Rainy River. We're probably gonna sell River in a couple days. I don't know why her hair is glitched. It's stained black for some reason, which is weird. I really could not resist the idea of having some cute little Tobiano buckskin babies running around, so that is why I paired these two up. I also wasn't sure if we'd get another buckskin horse soon once we sold Rainy River, so in my mind it just made sense to try and get another buckskin horse while we had the chance. After that, I went to bed, and that concluded day 25. Competing at a higher level. Heard that gold charms. Statues starting to glow. Something something. Yippee yippee. Crazy crazy. I think that pretty accurately summarizes what needed to be done on day 26. I took care of the horses that morning and also went outside at one point to go check on the baby and also pick up some of the resources laying around in the pasture. I spent a good bit of the morning training in this arena with her, and unfortunately this was also the last day with Stealthy Eagle. She had barely any of her training percentage left, so this was our last ever training session together. After finishing up her training, I hopped on Rainy River to ride over to the town. I actually used a travel stone for once instead of riding all the way there, and I headed into the auction house. This is so sad, guys. It's time to say goodbye to Stealthy Eagle. I actually think this is the most sad I've been about a single horse we've sold. But it's okay. It's gonna pay- this decision will pay off in the end. And I was correct in that decision because after selling Stealthy Eagle, we finally had enough money to get the Wild Horse Mountain pen that I'd been wanting for a really long time. After that, I headed over to the Rocky Mountain area and foraged for items. I also spent some time thinking about whether or not our next horse would be an auction or a wild horse, and I ultimately decided wild was the best option. After that, I hopped on Galaxy for the first time ever and headed over to the coast area. I spent some time collecting the chests and looking for watermelons and coconut oil. These items will be super useful to us later down the line. I then went home and went to sleep, concluding day 26. Now he's, being a little guy. Isn't that right, Louis? He wants to consume souls. He does. He's hungry for souls. You can see it in his eyes. I love my son. Chat, I love him. Can I pet you? Can I pet you? Oh.
Yes, you're being so cute. So cute and sweet. Yes, you are.
You're so cute and sweet, Louis. After appeasing Louis, the consumer of souls, with pets and food, I hopped into day 27. There were wild horses in the lupine meadow and some other basic quests, but overall didn't look like it was going to be a difficult day. I harvested my crops that had finished growing that morning and I headed over to the barn. I won't lie, there was a little bit of a hole in my heart on this day because coming back and seeing an empty stall where Stealthy Eagle used to stand was a little bit sad to me. But I took this as motivation and a sign that I really needed to get another horse. I actually took Galaxy out first today and I spent some time gathering different resources with her. I eventually headed over to town and spoke with Madeleine about a quest, and after doing that I headed over to Rivers to complete another quest, finally purchasing the intermediate country barrels that I needed to buy days ago. After getting my town errands done, I headed over to Crystal Lake to look at the wild horses for the day. What are these? Hello? What is this? There's some roans here, actually. I don't know what this is. It looks like a chestnut, but it's so speckly that it's like you can't even tell that it's, I don't even know how to word it. Like it's different. I want to see what this is. Here we go. What are you? Who are you? Do we think it's a roan? Like, I can't even see what color this is. This horse is so Sabino. Clear Snow. I don't know about that name. It's a stallion. Dark Chestnut Sabino. I think I'm gonna adopt him right off the bat, because, like, he's actually kind of cool. Originally, I was like, oh, I don't want to train a new horse. Wah, 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 wah. Wah, wah, wah. I don't want to train a new horse, but, like, what if we did? I immediately went home and took care of the new horse. And can I just give this game a shout out, dude? Because I have played this game for nearly 3 years and I am still finding coat, mane, and tail body marking combinations that I've literally never seen before. Love this game so much. I love collecting all the fun, crazy, cool coats of horses in these types of games, and this is just icing on the cake. I went to the coast and collected coconut oil, sand, and also watermelons once again. I quickly realized these were the most lucrative items, so I will be spending a lot of time here from now on. He gives Zendaya energy? Yeah, kind of. Should we give him a name? Would it be crazy to call this horse Zendaya? I saw that the other day, it had me chuckling. Would it be crazy to name this horse Zendaya, even though it's a man? Yeah, we're doing it, I don't care. Zendaya would be happy. So, after multiple days in the barn, I finally gave this horse a name, or rather, chat gave this horse a name, which was Zendaya. He kind of had a cool, bold, epic energy about him, so I felt like this name kind of worked. But it's kind of a double-edged sword, because by giving this horse a name, it means we're gonna get attached to him. After a little bit more scurrying around, I ended up going home and getting Clear Snow set up with a completely original set of tack. First, I styled his mane, and I ended up going with this wavy mane style for both his mane and tail. Our horse looks like McDonald's. Our horse looks like McDonald's. Oh my goodness. He looks like a burger. Maybe we should call him Burger. Or wait, can we name him Ronald? Are you guys good with that? Ronald. This is a bad idea. I'm gonna get attached to this horse, aren't I? I sold a lot of my resources that I had gathered at the coast that night, and I used that newfound money to purchase the wild horse pen finally. I took Ron out that evening into the arena and trained him for a while as the sun set. I put him away and headed off to bed, and that concludes day 27. Day 28 was kind of a bittersweet day because it was the last day of the spring season. Although the quests we got on this day were fairly simple and easy, I was feeling a little bit sad because this really meant that the beginning of our journey was officially over. On this day, I took care of the horses as per usual. My first stop was Lupine Meadow to collect white flowers. I'm actually so sad we're gonna have to sell this horse eventually. Guys, I'm getting attached. It's over. I'm attached to Ronald. I'm attached to Zendaya. Look at me in the eyes. So, as mentioned in the previous clip, I was definitely getting a little bit worried because by naming these horses, I was starting to feel a little bit of emotional attachment to them, which is no good when you're doing a challenge where you're trying to maximize your profits as best as possible. But anyways, that was a future Makachim problem. I collected the flowers, and for some reason I didn't immediately go talk to Aisha, and I went to talk to Jai instead for some reason. Yeah, that makes sense. Alright guys, I'm gonna talk to Jai. And I realize now, while editing, that the reason I spoke to him was to finish the Better Corrals quest. Now I could purchase upgrades for the corrals to get better stat horses in each one, which was desperately needed. Okay, so how much is this gonna cost me? Jeez. Okay, yep. So I think we're gonna get the forest pen upgraded and the mountain pen, hopefully. Dear heavens, we're gonna need so much money for this. This is so bad. I was so desperate, in fact, for these corral upgrades that I literally went to the auction house to see how much Ronald would sell for. Yeah, safe to say that I was not pleased with the price. I then returned to my previous business tactic of hunting down watermelons and coconut oil in the coastal area, and I went back to Aisha's place to finish the White Flowers quest. After that, I went to town again and begged Madeleine to buy my resources. Thank you, Madeleine, for purchasing them. I went home and actually checked on my chickens for once, and that concluded day 28. Overall, I'm pretty happy with my progress this season, and next episode we will start Summer of Year 1. Since this is the last episode of the first game season, I want to do a little recap. During Spring of Year 1, we sold 11 horses total. This includes Eclipse, Little Lady, Muddy Harvest, Pristine Atlas, Three Clover, Dark Acorn, Fancy Oath, Fire Venus, Champion Olive, Calm Riddle, and Stealthy Eagle. One foal was also born on the ranch during Spring of Year 1, Luna. I think it'll be really interesting going forward seeing how the number of horses increases or decreases depending on the month, and also the general sales range of all those horses. This concludes the first season of the Ranch of Rivershine No Competitions Challenge. I hope you all sincerely enjoyed. There'll be another episode next week. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you all later. Bye!